Hello everyone, my name is Gab and welcome to a tutorial on how to paint toolsci. So here I'm going to be teaching you the ins and outs of paint toolsci, preferably for mouse users since I'm one myself. So anyway, this is after recording, so yeah. First we'll be looking at the pen tool. So you have your options there. Multiply makes it darker sort of, and if you select normal it'll become a lighter hue, as you can see there. So here we have the pen styles. So as you can see, as it becomes bigger, they become harder looking as well. And the size, pretty explanatory, self-explanatory. And min size, I'm aware it's for tablet users, so I don't mess with it much, but I keep it on 50% most of the time. Um, as you can see, it doesn't do much of a difference. So anyway, here you have your extra settings so you can change how your pen looks. You can experiment with those yourself, but I don't really mess with that around with that since I do flat coloring most of the time. And here you have your textures, so you can also experiment with that. It'll give you different kinds of textures, like paper textures. It's like you're writing on paper, canvas, blah 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 blah. Can't really see my screen, so there you can see how they look. So you also have your brush sizes down there. If you're lazy to change it to an exact size, you can just pick from down there. So yeah. So next we're gonna be looking at the airbrush. So the airbrush is basically the same as the pen, except more it has more a different style. So you can experiment with that yourself. So yeah, size, everything. Yeah. I don't know what I was thinking about while recording. So next we have, what is that? I can't see. I can't see what it is. Whatever, who cares? So just another normal brush or something that you can configure yourself. Don't be lazy. Not much I can explain really, because I don't know what I'm doing. I actually forgot already. Oh right, it's watercolor I think, or something. So if you pick different densities, as you can see, that's the watercolor. If you pick different densities, it'll give you different styles, so you can experiment with that. The less the density, the softer the color is. So yeah, you can experiment with those. I don't know what those do. I don't mess with that. Next we have the something. I suck. And of course the eraser, pretty self-explanatory as well. So use it to erase everything on your canvas. It'll only work for the layer that you're on, however, so make sure that you're erasing on the correct layer. So next we have select. Select is really important. So for what? Okay, first let's draw something. So let's say we draw a circle using the full pen. Okay, a happy smiley face. So let's say you want to select the space inside of the mouth. So what you do is you click select and then you color it in. So I got lazy with that, so I just spam it all. So you select and then you color it in. So it's not actually blue, it's just showing what you selected. So afterwards you either click brush or some other coloring thing, and then you'll see there are dotted lines. That means you can only color inside that specific line. If you see, I can't color outside of it. So I'll show you again. Select, brush, and then you can only color inside that using whatever coloring tool you want. You can only color inside of that. Okay. So this is especially good for when you're shading or something. So you don't mess up with other colors. So as you can see, there's a dotted line around it. So to make that disappear, you can press Ctrl D. That's what I set mine to. I think that's the default setting. So that's Ctrl D. Here I'll be demonstrating it again. So if you click a thing, you color it in, and then you want the dotted lines to disappear, you just press Ctrl D and it'll disappear. Yeah, so you can color that in if it isn't dotted, but if it's dotted, you can't color anything else. So always remember to press Ctrl D. Next we have deselect, which is the same, except if you select something and then you mistakenly selected something, you can just press deselect to uncolor it, and then yeah, you can also change the size as usual. So next we have our bucket, pretty self-explanatory as well. Use it. It'll also work with the select, so if you want to color that in without using the pen, or if you're lazy or something, yeah. So next we have the binary pen, just a darker version of your normal color. And then I don't know what that is, ink pen. Oh, blur is really important actually for coloring. So you'll want to mess with the density to get softer feeling color blurs. So that's important for when you're coloring, which I'll be teaching you in another video, because this video will only show basic controls to Lineart. So next we have yeah, those are the main brush. So next I'll be explaining. Alright, the color wheel, that's what you use to get your colors. I use the color wheel. I don't use the second option, and I use the third one. That's what I'm used to. So you can like select those and make it darker, lighter for easier access or something. And then next I'll be showing you the toolbar. So first we have the select. So I don't mess with that. So example, you want to select the happy face. So you select that, copy it, and then you paste it. So you have a new layer. You copied it essentially. So if you want to erase, yeah, it'll just go like that. Yeah. So as you can see, it's there. Okay, so let's delete that layer first. So we select the happy face, we copy it, and then we paste it. And then now we use the move to move it, and then press Ctrl D to remove the dots. Now if you click Control, you can click transform, which is down there. So transform and scale are essentially the same. They move. You can change the size and stuff, as you can see what I'm doing right now. I really don't know the difference between scale and transform though. So anyway, next is free deform. So basically you do that, you make it all squiggly and stuff, and rotate as usual. Pretty self-explanatory. You can rotate the selected area. So if you press OK, it'll be like that, and then you can move it about with the move. And so you can also flip it horizontally or vertically, as you can see. So next I'll be showing the lasso tool. If you draw a shape, it'll become a dotted line. Useful for selecting a circular object that can be selected with the square select. So there, as you can see. And then next we have the magic wand, which is really useful in my opinion. So let's open up one of my other works for this. So basically the magic wand lets you select a certain area. It's useful for coloring. So example, we want to select the jacket, so you just use the wand on that area. But since it's the colors are different, they won't it won't copy everything. So what we do for that is you go to color difference. If you make it all the way up, it'll select everything, and then the lower it is, the lower the sensitivity as well. So I always select all layers because it's a pain in the ass to go to other layers just to select. So yeah, click all layers. That's what I do. And don't touch anti-aliasing. Keep it checked because it'll mess up, believe me. So next we have our magnify, pretty self-explanatory. For mouse users, if you mouse wheel down, if you mouse wheel towards your hand, it'll zoom in. If you mouse wheel away from your hand, it'll zoom out. So rotate, it'll rotate the canvas. You can also see the rotate settings up there. So yeah, rotate is useful for when you're coloring or making lines using a mouse, since it's kind of hard. Next, your move. You can either move it using that or the scroll or the navigator. So um for my pick a color thing, I use I. So you have to go to the correct layer for you to use it. So if you click I, you'll get your color, and then you can use it in your tools or whatever. Okay, so we're gonna delete everything, and I'll show you a line work layer. This layer is different from the canvas layer, such that you get different tools. So your tools are different. The pen tool, basically the same, except um, basically the same, yeah. So we made another new layer, different from the line work layer. So let's make a sketch first. So I want to draw a head. So I made a sketch first using the mouse. You can make it as messy as you want, since it's just a sketch. And then we lower the opacity, which is in the middle left. You can also name your layers by double clicking. Lower the opacity so that you can sketch. And then what you want to do is get, for mouse users, when you look at it, it looks messy, right? Unless you go with your mouse. But what I do is I use the curve tool. The curve tool will make straight lines, but when you click it, it'll curve the line. So as you can see here, I'm making straight lines using the curve tool since it's following my command, and then it curves them whenever I click. So you can experiment around with that. Next of all, it's like this. As you can see, it curves when I click. Unlike the pen, it doesn't, but the curve tool, it does. Yeah. So next is, okay, so when you click shift, you can move your line art. Actually, that's what's nice about it. When you click shift, it's useful for making minute adjustments to your sketches. Like example, if you don't like the way a line was made, you can just drag it by shift and then clicking an arrow, I mean a green dot, and then moving it around. Useful for hair. Okay, so next we have color. So if you select a new color and then you click on your line art, it'll change how the color of the line art. Note that this only works for line art. So yeah. So just following the sketch, we make the neck. And then here I show you a shift. So I move it, I make an adjustment using the shift function. And then, so now that we have our opacity low, we can start making eyes. So yeah, I'm demonstrating the line, which is basically the same thing, except it doesn't curve when you click. So pressure, when you click on, oh wait, no, okay, wait, let's make it black first. So pressure, when you click on a dot and then you move it to the left, it'll become thinner. And then when you click that dot and then you move it to the right, it'll become thicker. So note that you have to click the dot exactly. So this is useful for mouse users, since using a mouse we don't have pressure sensitivity as tablet users do. So you can use this function to make your art, your lines look interesting and such. As you can see, it looks better than back then when it was just static lines. So yeah, you can use that. See, it looks a lot cooler now, or whatever. So select that. It doesn't work for line art, it'll only work for layers. So if you want to color that in, you have to go to a layer, not a line art layer. So we're gonna attempt to make the eyes. So what I do is use the curve tool. Okay, wait. Okay, I'm doing random stuff here. So when it does that, you have to go back to your line art, and then you have to correct that. You have to make it a bit thicker so that the select won't leak through, and then you can select it just fine. And then you have to go to a line art, and then we name it color for face, and then you bucket it. Yeah, note that you can't color with line work layers. You have to go make a new layer. So we go back to our line work layer, and we use the curve tool, make the shoulders. Okay, so now that we have that, we start making the eyes. So what I want to do is I make a new line work layer and then I name it eyes line art. That way I won't get confused as to where my line arts are, because it's always useful to have separate layers for separate line arts, like separate, like example, hair line art, face line art, body line art, like that. And then here I use the shift to adjust the eyebrow, eyelid, whatever that I made. So I'm using the curve tool at the moment to make the eye. So here we have the eye, and then you can move it around, which is useful since it's on another layer, so you won't be moving the face line art. That's why I like putting them on a different layer. And then here you can see I'm adjusting it, making it longer. I don't have to erase and do it again because it's line art. And then you can increase the color difference of your select tool so that it won't have that many spots left in. And then we make a new layer, call it eye color layer. Always have your line arts above your coloring layers so that the line art is above the color and it won't look messy. So you fill it in with black, and then there. So remember, Control D to remove the dotted lines, and then you just fill it in and clean up anything that looks messy. So there we have our left eye. So we're gonna continue making the eye. So go back to your eye line art, and then you can start using the curve tool to make the eye. So as you can see here, I'm not satisfied with how it looks, so wait, yeah. So you just click shift and then you can adjust how it looks. Yeah. Then I adjust the under eye part. And then there, your eye. And then next what I do is I move it. As you can see, the color got left behind, so no problem, just move it as well. Okay. So now that I have my left eyeliner, what I do is I copy it, copy paste, new layer, and then I move that new layer, and then I go back to the select, and then what happened? Oh, okay, sorry about that. So anyway, I select it, I move it, and then I rotate it. I mean, I flip horizontally, so now you have an equal eye. Some other people like to draw it, but you know. So now that you have your other eye, you can either select the space inside and color it again, or you can select the color of the other eye. So I got lazy here, yeah. And then you just flip it, adjust and flip. So you rotate and then you flip it. Yeah, so as you can tell, I got lazy. So anyway, so now we have two eyes. Note that other people like drawing their two eyes, some other like copy pasting. It's just a preference thing anyway. Just be original. So we rename our eye stuff so that we won't get confused. And now we draw the middle of the eye. So yeah, here are my pathetic attempts at making a mouth. So anyway, we start with the eye, go back to the eye line art. And then curve tool, and then we start making a circular middle eye. So I don't like it, it's messy and it's hard to edit since it's a complete circle. So I just undo it all. And then so we do it a lot slower this time, do it properly. Then yeah, I still don't like it, so I undo. If you undo, it'll go back to the brush strokes that you did, so that way the whole thing itself won't undo. So there we have our eye. And then we do it for the other one. But since your other one was a copy paste, it becomes a normal layer, so you don't have the curve tool. So what you do is you go back to your eyeliner art, use that and draw the line art for the other eye. It's not really a big deal since it'll act as line art for both of them. So there you have both of your eyes. And then you select that, go to the color layer of your left eye, and then bucket in the black. Do the same, press D, Control D, do the same for the other one. Then go to your color layer, fill in, Control D, and then you can fill in that one. And then you just pick a random color that you want to use, bucket that, and then there you go. And then do the same for the other eye as well. And then there we have eyes. Yay, eyes. So this video is nearing an end, so next I try drawing my mouth, but I realize my line art is way below, so I move it upwards. And then I derp and undo. So you always want to have your line art layers at the top. Okay, just to make sure. Then you erase that. And then I usually like using the curve tool to make smooth looking lines. So I noticed that my right one is a bit too long. So I adjust them using shift. And there, my mouth. And then add a nose. There. And then you can adjust the pressure to make them look better. So we go to pressure, and then so you can see I'm just adjusting it a bit. Small lines won't be that affected, so yeah, just adjusting it a bit. Since I don't like the look of bold, I just make it thin, since it looks like a mustache more than anything. So since I don't like it, I go back to pressure and then I make it thinner, so it looks more like a smile. And there you have it, first tutorial for Paint Tool SAI. So if you like this video, in the next one we'll be discussing hair. So as you can see here, we'll discuss hair in the next video, and we'll also be discussing the body as well as shading, which I'll be teaching you in the next video. So anyway, thanks for watching everyone. Click like if you enjoyed, subscribe for more videos, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay cool. Bye bye.